Along next here tonight to our cover story and the family feud within Florida's state Republican Party. GOP leaders in the House and the Senate at odds with Governor Ron DeSantis, and the governor promising to now veto the immigration bill that they passed last night. Capitol reporter Forrest Saunders joining us live from Capitol in Tallahassee. And Forrest, lawmakers are trying to figure out what their next moves are from here.
Yeah, you know, Paul, we often say decisions are being made behind closed doors. Those are the closed doors we're talking about. That's the House chamber behind me. In fact, right next to it is the Speaker's office. He's been spending all day talking with media outlets and also trying to come up with the next steps here when basically DeSantis handed the legislature an Uno reverse card. Governor Ron DeSantis on the road Wednesday.
Now, please be seated. Please be seated.
Doing roundtables to make clear he's not signing that big immigration bill the legislature sent him Tuesday night.
I am vetoing their legislation. It's not gonna get my signature.
DeSantis labeled it weak sauce and said it, quote, neuters state agencies and steals immigration enforcement power from his office. And while he can call lawmakers back for yet another special session, he pushed voters to pressure them first.
Sometimes when these guys are in Tallahassee, they're in some bubble, right? The leadership is telling them, oh, this is great, it's great, it's great. And they're kind of like, okay, I want the members to go back to their communities, and I want you guys to talk to your representatives and tell them what you think.
DeSantis wanted stronger policy than what he got, to make illegal immigration a state crime, to give Florida the power to deport and appoint a state immigration czar under his control.
Show the bill passes.
The 84-page bill Republicans approved, called the Trump Act, does some of the same things. It repeals in-state tuition for DACA recipients, upgrades all penalties for undocumented criminals, but hands the Ag Commissioner, not the governor, $500 million to become Florida's chief immigration enforcer.
This bill has the potential to put massive resources in the hands of ICE and to slam shut the door on criminal activity by illegal aliens in Florida.
It was cheered by the vast majority of Florida Republicans as the most conservative and aggressive immigration bill in the country. Others derided the governor for acting like a lame duck.
I'm not sure why his fight with the legislature is in this timing. I mean, his last 2 years, you usually want to build bridges, not destroy everything on your way out.
DeSantis still wields considerable power with his veto pen. If he uses it, it'll next head back to the chambers, and Republicans in the Senate don't look like they have the two-thirds vote to override him. State Senator Randy Fine daring the governor regardless.
I mean, if he thinks making sure illegals can get in-state tuition is a good idea, then more power to him. I wouldn't recommend it.
While Republicans fight, Democrats warn both plans have problems.
There is no doubt that our immigration system is broken, and Americans deserve a thoughtful solutions from our state and federal government that will protect our economy and keep our communities safe.
That's as their members say getting rid of the in-state tuition repeal could sway them. It means a deal is possible, allowing lawmakers to, once again, ditch DeSantis.
There are negotiations happening now because we knew that this was going to happen. But my negotiation starts at in-state tuition. I am not willing to bend on anything if in-state tuition is not reinstated. Period. End of story.
Okay, so you can hear there's a bit of a balancing act there, because if you're going to appease Democrats, you might lose some votes over here in the House, you might lose some votes over in the Senate. So it's unclear what's going to happen next, except for the fact that DeSantis says he's going to veto that bill, and then it's off to the races again, Paul.
Yeah, this is how the sausage is made. Well, Forrest, this back and forth between the governor and the legislature over basically what amounts to who's got the power to enforce these new immigration laws that he wants. I'm just left wondering if there are folks out there tonight who are getting hit with these giant assessments on their condos, and some being forced out of their homes as a direct result of that condo law that state lawmakers passed last year and the governor signed. I'm wondering if they're thinking if only the governor had been just as passionate about vetoing that law. Why this sudden urgency on immigration, especially if it's more of a federal operation? I mean, we're seeing these raids being carried out all across the country. It's basically Trump's thing.
A couple of things on that. And I will say, first and foremost, I think for the Republicans that are in control of the Florida government here, they believe that they had a mandate from the election, which was do something on immigration and do it now. And you heard the House Speaker, you've heard the Senate President over the last couple of days. They think that they've got the right bill for that action. Governor DeSantis wants something else, but neither here nor there. Immigration coming out right out of the gate, they think that that's a mandate from the voters. As far as condo reform, these guys in the legislature, they think that they can do more. They just got to wait until the 60-day regular session. They want to vet any possible proposals. They want time to get it done. And their big position on why they didn't tackle it now was because they just didn't have the time to do it in a truncated special session. Paul?
Yeah. Time and power in competition with each other in Tallahassee. For Saunders, thank you as always. All right.